Let me introduce you to this concept called shot prompting. So in the world of prompt engineering, this is very common, and it's really all about the type of context that you give to each prompt. So there is something called zero shot, there is something called one shot, and there's something called few shot that really refers to the amount of data, the amount of guidance that you're giving these models before they give you an answer. Let's start with zero shot. This is typically how new people use ChatGPT and other language models. It's called zero shot. And that's when you don't give the model enough previous data or really any guidance to complete the request and give you a good answer. So this means the model is just expected to figure out in the best of its ability what you want based on the existing data and understanding of the model, right? So this typically doesn't give you a good response, but I'll give you some examples in a second. Then you have your one shot. We've looked at a lot of one shot priming so far. And this is when the model is provided a little bit of data, in this case, just one piece of data, that gives it some guidance to complete the request or the answer. So this could be a prompt like a question with a little bit of text on top of it. Then there's the few shot prompting, and this is the model that you want to get to. So this is when you give it multiple pieces of data, right? You give it a lot more guidance, and the request is going to be a lot more complete, so the answer is going to be a lot more complete. So the model, again, will use all your input to generate the response in the few shot prompt. So here's an example I'll show you here on ChatGPT. So let's start with zero shot. So right now, our goal is to generate a tagline for a new organic shampoo. So in zero shot prompting, I'm gonna say generate a description of a new line of organic shampoo, right? There's almost no data here, but this is again where most people are when they're using ChatGPT. And if I just press enter, it's just gonna do its best to figure out something, right? But it doesn't really know anything about what we're trying to do, and it generated a really long description here for us, right? So sometimes this is okay, but in most cases, this is probably not where you want to be. Okay, let's look at the one shot. This time, generate a tagline of a new line of organic shampoo based on the following guidelines. So now we're giving us some guidance. The shampoo is made from natural ingredients and is environmentally friendly. Right? You might have just made that stuff up before in the longer one, but maybe that's not what your product was all about here. So it doesn't make much sense, right? So this time I'm gonna get something a lot better. And look at this. This time it just wrote it as a tagline, right? Because we told it generate a tagline. Before we said generate a description, so it just spit out a whole bunch of words that were not even appropriate for what I wanted to do. Now I could ask for a description. Now that it has some guidance, now write a description. And then it's gonna write a description here for my website. Again, taking into account what I gave it. So this is the one shot prompt. And now let's get to the few shots. This is when you give it much more guidance. And this is the example in the same line. Write a product description of a new line of organic shampoo based on the following guidelines. But now my guidelines is a lot more, right? The shampoo is made from organic, sustainable source ingredients. It's free from harmful chemicals. It's packaged in an eco-friendly container, right? Then it's gonna use those very specific things that I gave it to write a product description. So it did write me a product description all 3 times, right? But this one is gonna be way more specific on what I'm trying to get, right? It's not just some generic thing that doesn't make sense for me. A lot of people, again, where they're trying to get output from ChatGPT or other language models, just basically give it the one with zero shot or one shot, get a response, and they copy and paste that, but that's not gonna be specific to your use case, right? It's not gonna make this much user-friendly, and the output is just not gonna be very good for your business or anything you use in your personal life either. So what I recommend is the few shots prompting, where you give it enough guidance here so it knows the direction you wanna go. And again, we're gonna build on this later. I'm gonna show you the next thing is this thing called prompt priming. So this is basically where you train it before you even ask a question. I think you're gonna find that really useful.